Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here, Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. It is Tuesday, second day of June 2026. We're going to hop into Safrinha weather down there in South America, Brazil predominantly. We're going to visit a little bit about Safrinha yields and, the dryness maps, Riley. It looks overly alarming, but as you dig in and you read more about it, things were planted relatively timely. They did have some delays, but for the most part, they got in a good window, which gets up, allows them to get up during the rainy season, get a good stand going, and temperatures are not extreme. And therefore, from what I'm reading, a lot of analysts are still calling for at or near record yields down there.
Yeah, very similar thought process to last year. Uh, it is the dry season, and I think a lot of people understand and accept that. So when we're looking at these dry maps right now, if you could switch that over onto the US, we'd be screaming and talking drought from the top of the hill and from the top of the mountain that drought's here. But in South America, it's just normal for them during this time of year. So with that said, let's get into the maps. First thing is always want to put in perspective how big of an area we're looking at. Safrinha, we're looking anywhere from Mato Grosso through about Paraná, is about as far south as you're going to go. And then we're still also looking at Argentina as their harvest is moving along. So taking just Mato Grosso on a US map, it's almost the whole Midwest. So really, really big area we're looking at that it doesn't always look on a map as big as it really is. So first thing I do have, harvest progress. Pretty going to keep this pretty short and sweet. Corn and beans are both ahead of the 5-year average, so there's no reason to be concerned there. Argentina's moving along as expected to above average. So
Just to clarify, this is first crop, not safrinha corn.
yes, Argentina only runs one crop. They don't have the heat necessary to run dual crop. So moving ahead, 1 to 5 day temperatures. As you look in the main Safrinha regions, Mato Grosso do Sul, mostly in the mid to upper 80s to 70s. As you do look southern and Paraná, highs in the 60s, but still no reason for concern. A lot of time to go. And temperatures, we're more scared at this stage of too hot than too cold. Cold temperatures become more of a worry in that late July, August timeframe. As of right now, it's not a big deal. So 6 to 10 days, very similar story. 70s and 80s in your main growing areas for Safrinha, and down in the south in the 60s. So more of the same on the temperature side. Last 2 weeks of rainfall. We've seen Paraná get some rain, southern Brazil, and if you look in Mato Grosso do Sul, nothing. And it's going to be a common theme. You go to the 1 to 5 day, more nothing. So this is what we talked about. This is their dry season. If this was in the US, this would be a big concern. In South America, it's not. So if this it was how the map looked for 2 months straight, well, then it's a big problem. But if you go back to the last 13-day forecast, there have been some areas to get some rain. So it's not like they've been completely zeroed out for the last 2 months. So then in the 6 to 10 day, some small chances, but still not a whole lot going on. Some of the western regions, areas in Mato Grosso do Sul, are going to catch a little bit to maybe help them out. But as a whole, dry season is dry season down there, and it looks like that's not changing anytime soon. So when you put it all together in the 1 to 13, the 2 week forecast, the 10 to 13 days shows a lot of rain. That's a consistent theme when you look at radar and forecast down there. A lot of times this time of year, by the time it gets into the 1 to 5 or even the 6 to 10, it's really backed off. But if you look at this 1 to 13 day, though, there is still a lot of rain being shown. So more reason to not be overly concerned as you're looking at the forecasts. So from South America and a national yield perspective, putting it all together, Clint, I'm not seeing anything to think massive crop failure. Yield wise on safrinha corn, it's not like they're going for 250 bushel crop. You know, they're hoping to get 90 to 100 bushel corn. So everything I would say is right in line to meet or even do better than that. So with all that, that's all I got.
Thanks, Riley. And I would tend to agree. And just for those that are watching yet, we do try to, pay attention to other analysts and agronomists out there as well. And they are also not raising any concerns. If there are any concerns moving forward, it would be that the corn that's later planted or missed that ideal window really could use some rain during the pollination phases further south, and grain fill would still be very welcomed. Also, one of the things mostly in Paraná, not an issue now, but due to the little bit, that was the area that got planted later, there could be some frost concerns later in the game. Harvest windows will start mid-June, and roll into August. So harvest season will be starting sooner than later. So again, Clint McLaughlin, Riley Sykard, Midwest Market Management. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.